I remember Bishop Albert Klein. He was deported to Siberia in Russia, working in a coal mine right after World War II. His wife and 5 children stayed at home and barely had enough to eat, and he was also deported, working with his bare hands and shovels and picks in the coal mine. And when the night was dark and he couldn't sleep, he got up and walked out of the barracks, and he looked for the morning star, for Venus, the morning star. And when he saw the morning star, he knew that the sunrise was not far away anymore. When the night was the darkest, the light was coming. It is that image that Isaiah writes about. The people who walk in darkness have seen a great light. The glory of God shines on them. It's the valley of the shadow of death, sometimes we think of, when it really does not seem like any hope or any joy, or when you feel like down in a dumps, or when you miss someone around your Thanksgiving table, Christmas table. It's not the same. It's never gonna be the same. The people deported to Babylon. Albert Klein in Siberia in the coal mines. In the darkness, looking for the light. Longing for the light in the darkness. That's what we are invited to do. The interesting thing is that God does not come as the warrior. God comes to us as a baby. Have you ever seen a tough guy? If you put a baby in his hands, it's almost like some of that armor is melting. And you see a softening of the heart and the compassion, a caring and a loving come out of the toughest guys. It is this caring, this loving, this compassion in us that the Christ child wants to bring out. That is the right way to expect him, to receive him, to open up our hearts to him as he is coming. So God comes embodied as a baby, yet we're not there yet. It's the time of expectation, of coming, of preparation. And sometimes I think the best way to describe today's time here in our community, in the nation, in the world, it's almost like labor pain. It's painful. The contractions were hurting. We feel a lot of squeezing, a lot of pain. But we're looking forward. We anticipate the baby. We anticipate the coming Christ. It's frustrating and painful now. Yet there is a birth and progress, something new being born. And do we participate in that? Do we anticipate? Are our hearts open for that? And do we remain open for that? The difference in between the peace that Jesus, the Prince of Peace, brings and the peace of the Roman Empire is as stark and diametrically opposed as you can ever imagine. The Roman peace was like the Saudi peace. Speaking up, Khashoggi gone. That's the Roman peace was like. It's not the way of Jesus. Jesus is the tender, the compassionate, who brings out the caring part in us, who wants to be embraced and held, loved, enveloped, and cared for. That is how God comes. And until we recognize that, until we open our hearts for that, it won't all happen. The Troubles, that's what they were called, the 30 years in Northern Ireland, when the Unionists, the one Protestant who sided with Great Britain, and the Republicans and the Catholics who sided with Ireland were fighting each other, killing each other from the 60s into the 90s. 30 years, war and killing. They could not come to an end, to a peaceful resolution. Until the seniors, the grandparents and parents recognized the ones from the other side whom we tried to kill are like our own children. And why would you ever want to kill your own children? All children of God, when they recognize that, street are changed from people carrying AK-47s to grandparents holding babies. Hearts melted, souls opened. They became receptive to recognize that in that baby, in their own babies, in their own grandbabies, God was present, a precious gift. When the night was darkest, the light was shining. When Albert Klein, down in the camp, the night was dark, he looked out for the morning star, for the light that was to rise. So the question for you and for all of us is, how do we deal with that darkness? Do we curse the darkness? Or do we light a light and reflect that very light of the morning star? How about you?